Good evening, guys. It is Thursday, January 19th. I'm Dine. Call me Dine. I'm going to showcase a quick editing tutorial. This will be split up in 3 parts on how to edit a race video. I'm going to be using the Kirby Superstar Arena race that Gold Glee Gamer and I did the other day and was recently uploaded. So if you haven't watched that yet, go ahead and do so because this is going to spoil who won. I'm using Sony Vegas Movie Studio HD Platinum 11.0, and I imagine several of these features will be available in other video editors. I can't say exactly where they would be in those other ones, but, excuse me, Sony Vegas 11 has been very good for these projects. Very simple to learn and quite fun to use. So, and normally I have everything I need in a previous template that I just carry over, but we're going to create this one from scratch. So we're going to create a new one. And what I want to do is I want to create a video that's 1920 by 1080. So it's going to, let's see, where are you? And it's actually not in this list. So I'm just going to pull up one of my other videos that's 1920 by 1080, part 1 of the Mega Man 4 race. And so it is 1920 by 1080. And I'm going to create this as Kirby Superstar Arena. So we have this preview screen which is going to come in handy. We have the default channels that are part of every new project you create in Vegas. And so what we want to do is put everything we need into the different channels. And in this case, the way I do it is we want the title card on the very top. It's going to take first priority because you can see the channels 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So if they're layered on top of each other, number 1 will be on top, and so forth. Video overlay that can remain unchanged. That's going to be the nameplates that Gold and I use. Third is going to be video. We'll go ahead and make that my video. And this voice, that's going to go with my audio. Now, in actuality, I made a mistake when we recorded this. It picked up, I usually try to record just my voice, but I forgot to mute the system audio recording, so it picks up Gold's voice and the game music. And for this project, that's going to work. So we're just gonna make that. It's going to simplify things a little bit. And go into this. We're going to insert another video track. Now, in general, you want 2 channels per video. So we're going to create this Gold audio channel, even if we don't need it. Sound effects, that's going to be our music channel. If we scroll down a little bit, we need to insert one more video track. That is going to be our background. And having a background in place at all times will make adjusting the video files much easier, because you see that big black space. That is ugly when you're trying to crop down borders. So I have all my files ready to go for this project. I'm just going to drag them into Vegas. I said I'm just going to drag them into Vegas. I don't know why this doesn't want to work. Okay, come on, come on, come on. Oh, this is the third take of this. Actually, I know what's going on, because this is the third take of this. I have some files that aren't supported by a Vegas. When it loads files into the Vegas Studio, it creates backup copies of especially video files, because it will always load in the entire video file, but not quite use the whole thing every time. So I was trying to load in those backup files. And Vegas didn't like that. So first things first, I'm going to put the background in place. So just drag it down to the channel. I'm going to increase it. And so we have this nice background, which is going to provide contrast against the video file sizes. Because what's going to happen is I'm going to bring in my video footage into the Dine Video, Dine Audio channels. And look at that, it's taking up the whole screen. We don't want it to do that. So, I'm just going to extend the background out so we see it the whole time. So Vegas has a track motion control. It's put up this little pop-up, And it's going to let us move the video file wherever we need to. And that includes resizing it and adjusting the aspect ratio. What I have is I have the aspect ratio locked. You can scale about center, which will just lock it in center rather than being able to move it around like this. And so what I try to do is I try to set left adjust it and center it vertically. And when you do that, once you get it in place, you can save a preset. So this would be player 1. You can click save. So I already have that set up. So 1v1 player 1, I just click that, bam, it's in place. Now this could probably stand to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to get Gold's file in place first and maybe adjust that. Let's go ahead and close that out. We're going to bring Gold's footage in, and same thing. It's just covering up the whole screen. You can see mine still is on top because of the layering. And just do the same thing. Go to track motion, and it's going to be 1v1 player 2 in this case. So that's already it right there, nicely in place. The only problem is it still has that black border. That is also easily fixed, because on the channel itself with the video, you want to come over to Event, Pan, and Crop. That's going to open up this window where you can adjust basically how much of the file is focused on. And same settings on here. Size about center is what I have on. Lock aspect ratio I turn off on this one, because I can move it around the center. And when I adjust the size, it's going to focus on where that center dot is. So what I need to do, and you can do the same thing with templates on this. If someone sends you the same type of video file, and basically cut it down the same way every time, just save a template, and you can instantly change that. For Gold's, the template I have for him works on NES footage he sends, but not Super NES. I have to fix that. What I want to do is just find the center, and the tricky thing is Kirby Superstar has a slight black border around the top screen here. I just want to make sure that looks decent. And I believe that does, so I'm just going to save this Gold SNES. And that's that. So these could probably stand to be a little bit bigger. Let's just take a look. Yeah, because the aspect ratio is locked. So what I could do, I'm going to keep an eye on the width here. And make this a little bigger, so 1120.02. I'm going to copy that, bring it over into Gold. It's going to be the same thing. Enter. So his is slightly bigger, and in my case, it's no longer even. But if I just go back to mine and readjust the Y positioning, set that to 0. So those are lined up again. Was it 400 on his? Let's double check. So yeah, his is at the X position of 480. If I do mine on negative 480, it may not look right. Well, yeah, that brings them about even. You can see marks in the center there. I'm going to go ahead and leave that as is. If I make them too much larger, they will probably just clash. So that almost takes care of part 1. The last thing to do, yeah, we'll go ahead and end there. So we'll continue on, and we'll line up the video files based on the audio recording, as well as adjust the audio to eliminate some white noise, some lip smacking and such. Something I'm going to do on this once it's ready for editing too. And we'll see you then.